You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Ian Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Saturday Night Live. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest SNL news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Saturday Night Live.
Oh, live from LA. It is Sunday night now.
Yeah.
Make a little history. Welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's podcast of Saturday Night Live. I am Mario Hernandez, and with me, as always, is my co-pilot Graham. Sky High. Sky High, Graham High. That's right. And we are here on a Sunday. A little change of
breaking new ground.
We are. Mm-hmm. Oh, let's turn off the volume on my computer as I'm watching us.
You look good, though.
Thank you.
No,
you do. No, you look good. I got to tell you guys, this is very exciting. We're trying some new stuff here. We are now going to be recording it on Sundays, which, as you know, follows Saturday.
Yeah.
So we will be able to kind of have our pulse on what's happening with Saturday Night Live. And
I
really
can't escape the irony that we moved it to Sunday to be more relevant.
Yes, and this was the first rerun in a while. That's right. Saturday Night Live for January 21st was the rerun of Emma Stone. But in all fairness, we haven't done a podcast on it because the initial airing predated this podcast.
The fans have been asking.
They said, "Yeah, are you guys going to go back and talk about the episodes that you missed?" And we said, no.
Yeah.
But then, NBC did the work for us, and rather than take 2 weeks off,
our fans went straight to NBC, and they're like, "Listen."
Well, we have a very vocal group of fans out there. I know ravenous that love talking about this stuff, that love their sketch comedy. And I got to tell you, there's a lot of good sketch comedy that's on right now. And actually, I've been meaning to talk about this for a few weeks now. Have you seen Portlandia?
I've been putting that off. I want to.
Do we have a Portlandia podcast, don't we?
Or no, we don't know.
Oh,
not
well,
currently.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's somewhere down the line. They're short seasons. I know there were 6 episodes in season 1. They're now in season 2. I happened to catch it a few weeks ago and finally got to see what all the buzz was about. The AFTERBUZZ. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it.
Thumbs up.
I really liked it. It's basically making fun of white people.
Yeah.
And that's always a hoot.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, and sadly, I see myself reflected in a lot of the sketches. Like there's a great one where they go to one of these natural restaurants, organic everything, and so they blow that out. And it's just like, well, is it organic? Is it USDA organic, Portland or Oregon organic, or Portland organic? And so then the waitress comes back with a folder. Okay, this is the chicken that you'll be having tonight, and it's his file. It's like his name was Tom. He was born on this day. He was fed a steady diet of milk, caramel, and all
you
these
have
things.
the whole history.
You
of
get
what
the,
you're
yeah,
eating.
you get the whole dossier on your chicken that you're about to eat.
I believe that's probably somewhere in real life.
Well, it's on Portlandia.
Yeah.
Friday nights on IFC.
I've spent some time in Portland, and it's a really cool city, but it does seem to embody that like way too white, just like hip and like really in touch and sensitive. I don't know, like I really enjoyed my time there, but at the same time, like there's a lot of people that are like too cool for school walking around, just like the only thing I've seen from Portlandia is where there's just dudes in hoodies and army jackets, and
they do a lot of things that I think obviously some of the things are very unique to Portland, and some of the things are all over the country, and it's now everywhere has kind of become yuppified.
That's true.
So you see that. I mean, so we live in Southern California where we have macrobiotic, vegan, outer space, gluten-free.
You're gonna turn into drunk uncle.
Water. Yeah, exactly. Right, and that's what drunk uncle is. That's the beauty of the drunk uncle character is that he's able to kind of counter this, the changing of America, because that's what we're talking about. So it's
Wi-Fi.
no thanks. www. Go away.
I love Drunk Uncle. He didn't show up this time though.
He was not here this time, but he's he does show up every so often.
Emma Stone was.
Emma Stone was. What did you think of her? So this is her second time hosting.
Yeah.
She hosted the year before, and of course she had a phenomenal year. The Oscar nominations have not been announced as of today, the 22nd of January, but there's a possibility that she might be in the running.
Have you seen The Help?
I
assume that's what she would be nominated for.
Right. Yeah, I have seen neither The Help nor Crazy Stupid Love.
I saw that one.
Which one? Crazy Stupid Love?
Crazy Stupid Love.
And how is she in that? I know she goes gaga over Ryan Gosling,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you
That's her
can't play.
thing.
I went gaga. I was
Over Gosling?
Yeah, I mean,
Gosling
you can't help it.
Why isn't he hosting? Can we?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, is he too cool to host?
He might be too. He might. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not big enough, but I don't know.
He's pretty. I don't know. He's the thing.
He lives in New York now, so I would bet that they asked him, and he said no.
No, I've got way too many huge film projects going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty huge right now, so wait till I get less huge. But they got Emma Stone on there, and what did you think?
I was impressed. I mean, she has a pretty good range already in just her films. Like she does, mostly she kind of plays like that kind of dry kind of girl, like that. I don't know. She plays that cool girl, but she showed off a little bit of her range.
Well, of course, she came to prominence in the what would we call it? Kid Stoner Classic? Is it a Stoner Classic? Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, do they?
She was in Superbad. She was the girl that was in Superbad and was wonderful. Incredibly enough, she was actually on a TV series called Drive, which I think was some sort of like a action kind of gone 60 seconds kind of spin-off. She had a role in an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. Lucky Louie. Get out.
Oh,
She
wow.
played with Louis C.K. There's another one of my podcasts that I do. Wow. And she's
She's
in
been around. She's young.
She played Lori Partridge in the TV Family, the new Partridge family, in the TV movie. But of course, since then, she's been pretty prolific. She was in Easy A, which I haven't seen, but I hear a lot of people said it was really good. She was in Zombieland, of course. She was actually really good in that. She's in a couple of other movies. Friends with Benefits. She's in that. Crazy Stupid Love, The Help. And of course, she's actually in two movies that are going to be coming out this year, which one of which they alluded to during the monologue, The Amazing Spider-Man, which is the Spider-Man reboot with Andrew Garfield, and The Gangster Squad, which they're filming right now here in LA.
The Gangster Squad?
Yes, once again
So out of the loop.
once again with Ryan Gosling.
Oh, okay.
Which is based on LAPD's fight to keep the East Coast Mafia out of LA.
Are they eventually just going to have movies with the same cast, like an ensemble cast, where it's just Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, George Clooney?
Well, yeah. I mean, if people want to see that, I mean, obviously there were movies with famous pairings over and over again. I mean, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn made dozens.
Yeah, Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong. Those are the first two that come to my mind.
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong and Tracy and Hepburn.
Perhaps the most famous of all Hollywood pairings.
Right. It's Cheech and Chong is first, and then a very close second is Tracy and Hepburn. Yeah. Which actually, if you listen to their movies, if you don't watch the movies, but if you listen to their movies, they sound exactly the same.
I'm going to have to do that experiment.
I think you're gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Emma Stone is funny. I think once again they did not give her as much material to work with. I think she was in some sketches she was kind of relegated to the ensemble, or worse, just kind of background. We're going to go over a few sketches, but
She always tried to have at least some kind of character. I mean, even if the character was pretty obvious.
That's true.
I didn't really like the skit all that much, but even for that Herb, what was the name of the newscaster?
Herb
Like
Stone, Harry Carey.
Yeah, Harry. It was a Harry Carey.
Hey, everybody.
Herb Welch. She was just kind of there, but even then, I was like, she's not Emma Stone right now. She is some cynical girl that you just run into in New York or something. She
Right, well,
could.
she was texting, kind of snapping her gum, and
Yeah, she had a voice and she had the look and everything. I was like, all right. And she doesn't have anything to work with, but
Right.
yeah, she was always trying to put on something different with each one.
we go back to this idea that we do not know how much rehearsal, what her schedule was. It might have just been that the sketches that featured her front and center just did not, just were not working.
Yeah, it was very possible. I mean, she, I enjoyed her performance. So part of it is like I'm a sucker for girls with big, beautiful eyes. Like I am gaga, and she has like beautiful eyes. Like, is there a party going on?
I think there's another.
The Mob Wives crew is going nuts over there
man.
watching their
we're
damn
all
show.
subdued.
This is-
Man.
No respect.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is that we're not just the studio. We have multiple studios. We have multiple things going on here at the AFTERBUZZ.
I'm texting those guys right now to keep down the party. Respect
Yeah.
SNL.
Respect the.
We're
old
going on year
fogies.
40 and we can't.
We can't even get a nice little quiet, a little 5 minutes. Hey, Phil, I know I said this on the other podcast, but I got to tell you, this new website looks amazing. It's really nice to just have everything right there, and the tweets and everything is all in one place. Good job. For those of you that don't know, because you're probably listening to us on our podcast, you can also watch us live on AfterBuzzTV.com.
We look good.
Well, we look good for a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's
New
Sunday.
time,
Sunday.
new people, new handsomeness.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I like
Again,
it.
it's a different thing. You have different standards on Friday night than you do on Sunday.
That is true, yeah.
So I think for Sunday afternoon, most of America's watching football right now. But we do have some people.
We got some people out there, somewhere.
Our parents,
Yeah.
I hope, are listening.
Hi.
Actually, they're probably not. They're probably watching football.
Yeah.
Emma Stone did a very good job. However, there was, here's the thing with the reruns. Now that we're able to kind of look at what has happened, and I tell you what a difference 2 months makes.
Yeah.
Because there are, by my count, at least right off the bat. And remember, I said this a few weeks ago. I said, when you do topical, when you do humor that's ripped from the headlines, as it were, you run the risk of dating it.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're not talking about episodes from a few years ago. This is not like, boners to the bone from Growing Pains.
Bill Clinton going to the
right, Bill
McDonald's.
Clinton, exactly. But no, we now have an episode that is 2 months old and is already dated.
This even like Michelle Bachmann.
Right,
Like
Michelle Bach, remember her?
Yeah. She's gone.
She's gone, and nobody cares. We start off the show with the Republican presidential debate, and I think just their political sketches have just fallen flat this year, and I hope they need a shot in the arm, because once again, I was actually reminded. Keenan does Herman Cain.
Yes.
Prior to Herman Cain dropping out a whopping 2 months ago, which in our 24-hour news cycle is basically years ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Herman Cain had sexual harassees coming out of the woodwork, and that was ultimately what sank his campaign, or whatever floundering campaign he had.
He was kind of a front runner for a while.
He was. He surged because they were doing the endless rotation of anybody but Romney, right? And Herman Cain had his moment during one of the debates in 999, and he sold a bunch of books, which is what I totally believe that he was doing. It was basically one big book tour.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman who was going out to self-promote, and America fell for it because they wanted anybody but Romney.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: where are you going to go with Herman Cain? How are you going to make fun of Herman Cain? A sometimes clownish businessman who made his money off of pizza, who apparently was a pervo, allegedly was a pervo. So where are you going to go? What is your? I think when you're making fun of that, you have to go in the other direction and have him be a poet. Have him be a poet of
Like
women
an
and say,
introspective,
I would never touch the loin of I would
Instead
never
of
touch
just going
these
straight for the-
right. Instead of like, well, these women don't know anything. It's just like, where can you go with that? He's the man himself in real life is a cartoon.
It's
How can you make fun of a cartoon?
well, we have the SNL version of Herman Cain. There was a video I saw where Mike Tyson played Herman Cain on Funny or Die.
Yes, which was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, that's a good way to go. I mean, part of it is just Mike Tyson being crazy, just being a psycho.
The fact that
yeah, but I mean,
Mike
that's the thing. It's like, hey,
we love you,
guys,
Mike. Please don't come to the studio.
He can hear us every time.
That's Graham. I am Graham High. Follow him at Twitter. I am Graham High.
Yeah,
kick his ass. Mario Hernandez, Cinemario.
that'd be the way to go.
You.
I wouldn't mind if I was murdered by Mike Tyson.
You wouldn't mind that. You do not think that would be the most excruciating pain any human has ever, because he hasn't killed anyone yet. So if he killed you, you just said you wouldn't mind.
I'm just looking for glory.
That's how you want to go?
If he punches me, I feel like I would just crumple and my spirit would just leave me immediately.
What if Herman Cain punched you? Would you sue?
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I wouldn't mind Herman Cain if you want to punch me.
Would you sue him for pizzas?
Yeah, I would settle for that. Out of court.
Pizza.
Yeah, unlimited Godfather pizzas.
Oh, was it Godfather? I thought it was Little Caesars. Godfather pizza. You're right.
Yeah.
So then we had, of course, the Rick Perry, and then the Rick Perry gaffe.
Yeah.
You know, Rick
old,
Perry. Man. That's old. These guys are. It's old.
Well, I'll say for that one, they did just a recreation of the gaffe itself.
There you go.
And they, threw in some jokes that are kind of funny, but if the joke is that he forgets things, like you could take that in a certain direction. You could just show him forgetting things, or you could
pants and
just
his children, or
but they just did pretty much
they rehashed what came out of the news, which was that he forgot a thing.
And you said,
and
oops.
he did try to kind of hold on, let me get this. Hold on. Oh God, I can't. A guy struggling with the memory. But once again, that's not unusual. Millions of people, believe it or not, I almost forgot that we had to do this today. People forget stuff. So that's not that funny. It's the what they forget. And so if you're just rehashing, if you're just literally replaying what actually happened, again, truth is stranger than fiction. And in this case, I mean, Rick Perry, taking a dump on national television is just, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
Well,
so
I don't know why, but one of my favorite parts of that skit was just when they're introducing and Bobby
Moynihan plays Newt Gingrich.
His grin made me lose my mind. Just the most I didn't even know how his face went so high with that smile. He didn't have to say anything. He just had that great. And Newt will probably be around for a little bit, so hopefully,
they're going today. He won the South Carolina primary yesterday, and it looks like they're going to be duking it out. I mean, I looked at it today. You need 1,144 delegates to win the nomination. The current score is Mitt Romney 19 delegates, Rick Santorum 17 delegates. No, also 19 as well, because they each won Iowa, and Mitt Romney Newt Gingrich has 17. So it's literally nobody's cracked 20 delegates yet.
Yeah,
and it's the first one to 1,100 delegates. So
it's gonna be a long year, man.
Yeah,
all these guys are just gonna lose the presidential race.
Well, here's the thing. God told three of the people to run, and the three of the candidates claim that God told them to run, but God's not very good at picking presidential candidates. So
he's just got his fingers in all the pies.
He's probably just covering his bets. He's just hedging his bets. That guy. Speaking of God, and speaking of not ill-timed, but not topical humor, is we had Jason Sudeikis showed up as the devil.
Yeah.
On Weekend Update. And the joke there was, and I tell you what, for a moment there, when that episode first aired back in November, or whenever it was, it seemed that Saturday Night Live was now going back to its really kind of ballsy, edgy roots.
Yeah.
Because they were going to tackle the Penn State scandal. And so the joke ended up not being about the scandal itself, but about the fact that the devil hadn't heard about the scandal.
Yes. And he was disgusted by it.
Right. That it was so heinous that even the devil himself would be. So not terribly funny.
That's what happens when you follow Ashton Kutcher on Twitter.
Well, that's just that's just it. So he's played this character before, and but of course, with the untimely not untimely, I guess, because he was old and had cancer. But Joe Paterno, of course, legendary Penn State football coach, disgraced football coach who had to be fired in the wake of the scandal, child rape scandal.
Yeah.
Died. And so now, once again, it's kind of it's this. They're doing this joke that kind of falls, because that's what happens when you go for the headlines. Because a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, anything in the headlines is not going to be. Nobody's going to get
at
it.
And you're like, oh, that was cute. Like, remember that headline? That was crazy when we were obsessed with that.
And you think about over the years, the number of scandals or scandalous things that have happened on Saturday Night Live. Sinead O'Connor, who tore up the picture of the Pope.
Yeah.
Norm Macdonald, who got fired for, biting the hand that feeds him on Weekend Update.
Musically, I'll just put it out there, Elvis Costello playing the song that they asked him not to play.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that?
They want him to play some other song, but he played Radio instead. I'm an Elvis Costello nerd, but
Are you now?
yeah. But I mean, I thought it was pretty cool because his whole it was an anti-establishment song, and they asked him not to do it in the middle of they started playing one song, and he was like, wait, we're playing the song.
Right. He began by playing Less Than Zero, and then he went to Radio.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that there was some edginess there, and I don't know if it's like you're saying, like you're always kind of wanting it to go that way, but we've mentioned this before. It's an institution now, and I thought, I saw that skit. That was one of the ones I saw passed around on Facebook with the devil, because everyone was talking about it, and everyone wanted some kind of relief from it, and it was a pretty funny skit. And now it's like, since Joe Paterno just died, and we have that perspective now. And it's like, I still don't know where to put all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy, Joe Paterno, like, at the end he had this huge legacy.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, you find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how to feel, because I don't care about Penn State football. I mean, to me, it's just like this guy.
Well, I care about the kids. I
That's-
care about the kids that were, and that's something that's kind of, I think if you're on the outside looking in and you're like, wow, everybody's everyone's upset that this, that this living legend, got cut, which it turns out it wouldn't have mattered, if he died, if he passed away a few months later.
Well, do you think like that maybe this is, but all of that really accelerated his deterioration of health? Because if I was involved in a scandal like that,
Yeah.
I would be like, it's time for me to check out.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing I could do.
Right.
I don't know. Is that possible? Is that what people do?
Well, I'm sure it exhausted him on some level, but I mean, lung cancer is lung cancer. There's no, there's no wishing and hoping, and there's no. I mean, not to joke about cancer, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's that simple. But I'm sure, yeah. On some level, his energy, his will to live, as it were, and they say, right, when the happiness extends your life. So this is all to say that you gotta be careful, and this is something that, for any aspiring television writers or sketch writers or hell, even movie screenwriters, be careful when you're doing topical humor. Be careful when you're making, obviously, if you specialize in political sketches and political jokes, obviously it has to be of the moment. Nobody's going to whip out a Warren Harding joke, to make it see. But, any writers out there, just be aware that the moment you put something about current events in your script, it will be dated, because whatever that is of the moment, however current it is, however topical it is, however avant-garde even you think it is, eventually it will not be. We talked about this, right? We talked about the fashions and the present being history.
But you could still elevate some of that stuff, because they show like old political things. Like, I still think like Phil Hartman did Bill Clinton, and like Chevy Chase did Gerald Ford, and that kind of stuff. Even though it's dated, it's its own beast at some point in time. Once you kind of take it outside of what's immediately like, hey, look at this. This is what's in the newspaper. Don't you know it? So it's funny. Once they kind of take it, and I mentioned last episode about Will Ferrell's George Bush.
Right.
Like, he did a bit about George Bush. Like, he was given a presidential address from like a buffet. I was like, George Bush. It was pretty funny. Where
That's when he did the Osama bin Laden assassination announcement.
Yeah. So I mean, that stuff's still pretty funny, even though it's pretty topical. But because there's something more than just what is
well,
going on.
I think when you're doing that, you have to do the major thing that political figure, or fill in the blank, celebrity or whatever, is known for. I think when you get into specific moments, it gets tricky. So while everybody remembers that Bill Clinton, his penis got him in trouble with all of these sex scandals, can you name 3 of the women that were his accusers? I can name 2 off the top of my head. Obviously, the famous, or not accusers, but women that he was associated with: Monica Lewinsky and Jennifer Flowers. But there was, it's a laundry list with him.
Yeah.
It was literally, it was literally like 6 or 7 women that came forward that got caught.
Really?
Yeah. So, again, the key is not to be like, "Hi, I'm Jennifer Flowers," and because nobody's going to remember that. But you can do, Bill Clinton, sexual, at Sex Anonymous or whatever, indulging in sex while he's around the world doing his global millennium project or whatever. Like, that would be funny because everyone knows, oh yeah, he was a crazy guy that his penis used to get him in trouble. But nobody remembers the specific details. So that might be worth something, that if you're going to put something topical in there, keep it as broad as possible. Richard Nixon being a crook.
Yeah.
Most people don't know exactly what the Watergate break-in was and the details surrounding it, but they know that he was a disgraced president and that he was a crook and that he was dirty and all these other things.
Yeah.
So just keep it as broad as possible so that 20, 30 years from now, if that even matters to you, people will still find it funny, and that's, or go completely off the reservation and have it be, a non sequitur, Chevy Chase's Gerald Ford falling all the time, which I guess was sort of this idea that Gerald Ford was a buffoon, but he never fell, and Chevy Chase just, threw himself down the stairs, which was hysterical, because that's just funny.
That's just always funny. Just people hurting themselves.
So what's we're preaching about being topical.
That's
right. Don't be topical. Don't be too topical. I feel like, if you're gonna, because again, here we are 2 months later and already it's old news. But there were some really wonderful sketches. I think here's an example of one that's being, because we're actually probably gonna contradict ourselves, because we're gonna say there's a topical sketch that we both loved. Topical in the sense that it involves a hot song. Here's the Adele sketch.
Yeah.
Where what is it? Someone Like You.
Someone Like You.
Someone Like You, with these women, actually, and then people.
Yeah.
Who just feel, and this is so great, right? They tapped into this idea that whenever you hear these super heavy, super syrupy, saccharine, emotional songs, it's about you. Right?
It's your song, man.
And Adele is, the beautiful thing about Adele is she still has that credibility because she's new, because her voice is so resonant, right? It's so beautiful. She's authentic. And it's we haven't seen this kind of music. This is music. This was kind of adult contemporary music that was last huge in the 90s, which was right before black music and R&B really took off and really took over the charts permanently, basically. But the last stand of adult contemporary music, which was the mid to late 90s, with Whitney Houston,
good
and
times.
Celine Dion, and Barbra Streisand had a hit in 1996. So so now this is this idea that this is this outdated type of music. You're singing these really.
It seems like everybody loves Adele, though.
Right, that's what I mean. She has credibility. It's impenetrable, but that's just it, right? And that's what we say. That's what popularity is, right? You feel like it's speaking to me, and it's so funny because they're re-releasing Titanic in 3D this year, and so you go into the theaters, and all of a sudden it's Celine Dion blasting through the speakers back from Vegas or wherever she's been, and it sounds quaint. It sounds like, whoa. So Adele, who already has this kind of throwback sound, this kind of deep, smoky, almost Motown,
it's like retro soul,
black.
kind of,
She sounds black, and it's amazing that everyone kind of wants to appropriate her, and that's what the sketch was about. The sketch was saying, everyone has their own moment and their own connection with the song.
And all of their reasons were so ludicrous. My favorite was I just watched the series finale for Friday Night Lights, and I've just been messed up ever since. Like you had the wings, you had the parakeets fighting, but that joke didn't really get a laugh. But I was like, dude, I know a lot of people. I don't watch Friday Night Lights.
It's an excellent show.
It's
amazing. Here's the thing: I don't watch it, but I happened to catch one episode like in the middle of its run, and I was like, let me see, because I'm from Texas, and I remember when Friday Night Lights the book came out, and it's about Odessa Permian, the Odessa Permian team, which has always been in the state finals, which always actually played a local. I'm from San Antonio, played a local powerhouse, Judson, in the state championships like for years in a row, and so I'm kind of over that, and I'm not a huge football fan, so I'm kind of over the whole Friday Night Lights. And then I watched it one night.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good.
It's good.
It's really good. And I'm also a former teacher, so it's just like watching kids and the things that are going on. It's just it's a wonderful show. Man. It is. So I could So when the series ended, and then they won an Emmy, right? The two leads won the Best Actor and Best Actress Emmy. So I get it.
Yeah.
So when they
just
say
like
that,
when
it's
you close
shorthand.
a big book,
Yes.
and you just have that feeling of like, I just need to let this resonate.
Yes.
Yeah, just listening to a good soulful song. And I was thinking when I was watching this, like you were talking about, after late 90s, I'm not saying like everyone got like cynical, but everyone got cool. Like everyone's cool, and I think in a way people are cool now, but they're a lot more emotional in a way. Like it kind of feels like there's a vibe of people being more soulful, or that kind of thing.
Well,
like,
it's that hipster aesthetic, right? It's too cool to show. Like showing your emotions is not cool. That's what I mean. An overly emotional song, Even when emo came out, which is funny because we're talking about Coldplay. When emo music came about, there was this kind of immediate backlash.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. Emo is the antithesis of a lot of music, blogosphere, hipster heavy kind of, what they call shoegazing music, because you don't actually dance to it. You just kind of bop to it, and you're kind of looking down and taking it in. Right. Jazz is like that too. Right. So you just kind of, like, jazz is like something that washes over you. Yeah. It's introspection. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's part of that throwback sensibility with Adele, that kind of Motown, where the lyrics, there's no subtext. There's no, it's just like, I want you, it's like Marvin Gaye, let's get it on. There's no subtext in that.
No.
There's no multiple interpretations of what that is.
I just now realized what that song is all about.
What, let's get it on?
Yeah. I was trying to figure out what he wants to put on what.
Bed sheets.
Oh.
Bed sheets.
Oh.
It's let's get on the bed. Let's get these bed sheets on. So we like the Adele sketch. We also like Tech Hump.
Yes. I know a lot of people would hate it, but I dug Tech
What did
Hump.
you like about it? Because I liked it too, but let me see what you think.
I think I was on board when they turned the camera on, the lens came out, and then at the end there was a flash and the lens went back inside the camera. I was like, they're really trying to. You had the two curling irons scissoring.
Yes.
And it just seemed like a stupid idea, and it's like, I imagine maybe there's a writer or someone, and they just started making their iPhones hump, and then they're like, this is quality material here. It's stupid. I mean, everyone idolizes their technology and stuff, and I wouldn't mind watching.
Well, it reminded me a little bit of South Park, or no, sorry, Team America.
Yes,
right? When they had the dolls humping, the puppets humping.
It looks grotesque, but at the same time, you're just looking at two inanimate objects being bumped up.
Right. Well, that's just it. Again, we go back to this idea of Saturday Night Live being the place for edgy humor, and it's like, we can't show people having sex. Let's show objects having sex. We got the iPad getting it from the front and then flipping over the iPad so that you get it from behind. And that's funny stuff. That to me is just like, and it harkens back to the idea of, Mr. Bill and all of these older sketches that involve like puppets and like you said, inanimate objects. And that to me is just funny. It's stupid. It's juvenile. It's right. It's you're sitting around in English class in high school and you're going, hey, look at this. And your phone is humping your textbook or whatever, or. And maybe you do that. Maybe you do that with your little sister, right? You go in there, play with their dolls, and kind of leave them in these kind of. I do that sometimes when I see people that have like teddy bears. When I see adults, this actually happened a few times. I would date girls, and I would go into their rooms, and they had teddy bears,
Yeah.
or they had some sort of stuffed animals. So of course I put them in pornographic positions because
you got
it's,
to.
because you shouldn't be an adult with teddy
Yeah.
bears.
What I remember when I was like, it was 10th grade, I sat right beside my teacher's desk, and she had like a bunch of toy elephants. And she would like be teaching, and like while she was doing that, like me and my buddies would just set up this orgy of
An elephant orgy,
Orgy.
the elephant walk.
yeah, and we always pride ourselves on just not going with the same thing.
Right.
They were open to whatever, and
I mean, with an elephant, literally. I mean, that's the Indian story of the four blind guys and the elephant. I mean,
it's a tree trunk.
that's
It's a leaf.
That's
It's a snake.
That's a dong.
It's an orgy. Yeah, it's a dong.
Yeah. So
It's 16-year-old humor.
but it works. It works. We also had the secret word one, which people in the blogosphere were kind of split down the middle. I liked it. I think. Once again, mediocre material being elevated by Kristen Wiig, kind of her characterization of what she could do as this actress who was so self-promotional and so I am an actor, and when I see words I have to bring them alive.
I like that she openly admitted to how much Tarzan gets her hot.
Gets her.
She's
horny.
not embarrassed. She's like,
Right.
well, it's out there now.
Yeah, it's which kind of obviously is an allusion to the internet. Once you say or do something on the internet, it's out there forever. Like this podcast.
Oh yeah, no. Hey,
We are.
I'm gonna have a lot of.
We're gonna show our
apologizing
kids
to
this
do.
this podcast, and we're gonna be like, "This is what Daddy used to do instead of working." Mm-hmm.
See, I have the hope that there'll just be more and more information dumped out to the masses, where it'll just be buried. Like everything about me will just be buried.
You'd be surprised that, or it's all just going to be absorbed, and it will just be like, oh, okay, they're going to know that Graham and Mario, this was their thing, and so it'll just be the collective work, or the collected works. The Modern Library presents the transcripts of AfterBuzz TV's podcast.
We will live on forever.
So we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Coldplay, which was the musical guest, and we're going to wrap up the final tail end of the SNL sketch with Emma Stone. I'm here with Graham High. I'm Mario Hernandez. Stick around. We'll be right back.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Buzz, 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 buzz. AfterBuzz TV. This is the podcast for Saturday Night Live with your host,
Mario Hernandez.
special guest, Graham High.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Graham, how
Such
high
a
do you
pleasure.
go?
I go sky high.
You go sky high every time?
Well, I probably. There's been times I've gone to the Cosmosphere.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's my
not
favorite
much-
fear.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. Of all the fears, that one's my favorite. So we're of course talking about the Saturday Night Live season 37 Emma Stone episode, the lovely freckly redhead Emma Stone. I feel like she is Lindsay Lohan had she not gone off the rails. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I was
She's the
thinking the
bizarro Lindsay Lohan
It's
who
like,
just
you
actually
could have been this.
she fulfills the actual potential of America's cute redheaded sweetheart. And a little bit, of course, of Lucille Ball. Not to blaspheme, of course, but she's got that kind of goofiness, like you said. She goes for it. She's got those characters, and yeah, I mean, I see. We know that Emma Stone is going to have a great career.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
You know, she did Easy A, which a lot of people love. You know, I remember when I saw the trailer, I thought, oh, it's another, you know, forgettable. And then it came out and people loved it. So
she's got an easy charm to her.
That's right.
It's just, there's not like a. She's accessible, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. She doesn't blow you away with her beauty. She doesn't blow you away with, she doesn't have to be gross. She hasn't taken, you know, it's kind of like Cameron Diaz and some of these other comedians that have kind of just gone the gross route. And it's, you know, she's kind of, she has enough confidence, and that's hard to do. It's hard to have confidence in yourself and just say, I can play it. I can do anything. And if not, I'm willing to die trying. I'm willing to fall on my face, which is what it seems like she does. Not fall on her face, of course, but go for it. And so, yeah, she's going to have a long career ahead of her.
Coldplay, on the other hand,
they're going
done.
nowhere. They're done. Coldplay is like, I mean, I barely even knew I had to Google them to find out who Coldplay was after, you know, the monolith that was Lana Del Rey last week. I was like, who's Coldplay? Oh, they got Coldplay to follow, some no-name band to follow Lana Del Rey. We're being ironic, of course, because Coldplay is one of the biggest bands on the planet.
Coldplay for me is a guilty pleasure. Like, not I'm saying guilt. Like, I enjoy their music.
You know how I know you're gay? Because you like Coldplay.
Exactly, man. That's the thing.
40-year-old virgin.
If Coldplay comes on the radio, I will listen, but I will also probably roll my windows up and turn it down. I can't blast Coldplay.
Well, I tell you what. Here's a funny little story. I used to work at BET. That's Black Entertainment Television. I was a production accountant for them. First for their New York office and their LA office. Great time, great network, lots of really great people there. And obviously, the vast majority of music that was and I worked in the music division in New York, so it was literally, I mean, like we walked. That's where we did 106 in Park, and that's where we. So we had like, you know, Busta Rhymes coming through the offices all the time. Like,
very cool.
So needless to say, hip hop and R&B was 99.9% of the music that was pumped through the offices. That was either, you know, the presidents or the directors were hearing it, or even just people in their cubicle listening to their stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned if one time I'm walking through the offices and I hear, I think it was Yellow.
Oh, wow.
Look at the stars.
Yeah, their breakout hit. That's pretty good.
And it was all yellow. So that sounded like Cher doing Yellow. And it was all yellow.
Get auto-tune on that.
That's right. So so yeah, sure enough, one of our guys was listening to Coldplay, and I thought,
what's going on?
That's
They've won a couple BET Music Awards or something.
Have they? No.
He did.
They have not.
But
Bieber was nominated, but not Coldplay.
Oh, okay. No, I mean they remain hip in their way. They're always pushing.
Well, they play with Jay-Z. They were on Jay-Z. Jay-Z's been on their albums, and so they got, you know. But you know, Jay-Z himself is also pop. So
yeah,
you know, certain artists enter into that rarefied air of not, you know, they're beyond just bands, right, or musicians. They're just they're pop. They're stars. And true to form, Coldplay also made an appearance in a couple of sketches, or at least Chris Martin did.
Yeah.
Again, the Adele sketch, when they're showing, they did kind of a little meta where they showed the studio monitors in the hallway, and Coldplay was crying. Fellow countrymen, Chris Martin and friends were were crying to Adele's.
I mean, they probably could have done a Coldplay song for that too, like Every Tear a Waterfall. But I mean, they could just.
I don't know what song that is, but you did.
It was their.
That was the song. No, I know. I'm just trying to call you out.
Yeah, it was. I don't know, the Paradise song.
You know how I know you're Graham? Because you like Coldplay.
I don't own any albums. I'm just trying.
But I've downloaded a lot.
Yeah,
but I pirated a bunch.
I don't pay for them.
I don't pay.
I listen to them.
You're like the smoker that just bums cigarettes.
Yeah.
That's
well, they're like changing their. They're starting to go into that Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's thing where they
wear military uniforms and
their set was pretty cool. I thought it was like a underground resistance for emotions. Like, you know,
wow, you just blew my mind.
Yeah, man.
What was that?
Just like
underground resistance for emotions?
Yeah, they're like fighting the thought police and stuff. They're like, hey,
with
man,
emotions.
With emotions. They got the spray paint neon stuff, and they're like, music is our weapon.
That's beautiful, man.
Beautiful melodies. Yeah.
If music is your weapon, Graham, don't you shoot me in the face.
We amuse ourselves.
We do.
I mean,
Well-
but they did a good job.
So now one more as we wrap up this wonderful podcast. We'd like to talk a bit about the SNL digital shorts. Now, here's my question, because we did not have a digital short and no Andy Samberg during the Lana Del Rey episode, which has now become the Lana Del Rey episode instead of the Daniel Radcliffe episode. But have the digital shorts, i.e. the Lonely Island guys, run out of juice? Go, Graham.
They're definitely doing their formula. And like it's got to a point where there's a certain formula, I feel like.
Okay, what are some characteristics of the Lonely Island?
Ridiculous hair and makeup and outfit and clothes. Like you're gonna have.
They seem to be in love with the '80s. There seems to be a lot of, especially when they do, when they did the Timberlake, the Bleep in the Box. Notice I didn't say Dick.
Oh yeah.
And the
Mother Lover.
Mother Lover. Here's an interesting thing, actually. So we're talking about the digital short where he plays I Wish It Would Rain, right? He plays kind of a Michael Bolton kind of cheesy guy that does these, and you see it actually, and you see the real Michael Bolton in Jack Sparrow, where you have these kind of sweeping camera angles and the camera pulling back and the guy arms outstretched, looking up at the sky kind of thing that, Michael Jackson, when Michael Jackson does it, it's cool. When Michael Bolton does it, it's not.
Yeah, just put your arms down.
But both Mother Lover and this sketch, this digital short, were both shot in Dumbo, in an area known in Brooklyn known as Dumbo, which is down under the Manhattan Bridge underpass. It's an acronym, and so it's the Manhattan Bridge that passes over this part of Brooklyn. That was actually where, if you watch Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino, where Al Pacino takes the test drive, the Lamborghini, and they go driving and they get pulled over by the cop, by Ron Eldard. That's in Dumbo as well. So it's kind of this old industrial. It's where Brooklyn. It's where the ferry used to run between Brooklyn and downtown Manhattan. So it's got this very kind of old. And for the longest time, it was warehouses and dilapidated factories. And then the Jehovah's Witnesses came in and bought the Watchtower building, the old Brooklyn Eagle building, which is where Walt Whitman used to write, where he was the editor for the Brooklyn Eagle. Yeah, I'm sorry, I know a lot of Brooklyn here. Anyway, but if you see in the background of the digital short, you can see the blue lit archway that's part of the Manhattan Bridge. So if you're ever in New York, if you're ever in Brooklyn, go down to Dumbo. They've now redone everything. They have a bunch of parks and stuff down there. It's beautiful. They do movies in the summertime.
They're like, and this is where the digital short was
well,
shot.
I'm saying they like to go shoot down there. And Mother Lover's another one because they're walking and they're skipping along with Susan Sarandon and Sandra Locke. Sandra Locke. And no, that's not her name. The other one. When they're walking on the sidewalk, that's also in Dumbo. So I think that seems to be, they really like to shoot there because it's very picturesque and
it looks good. It looks like New York. I will say the funniest part of that was that the guy that his girl left him for had the exact same hair and mustache, and that's
as him.
Yeah, it was just perfect.
Fred Armisen playing that guy.
I mean, the rest of it was like, all right, big butt, but I was loving just that they have the exact. She has a type.
It seems like they were kind of making it up as they went along.
Yeah,
they just obviously that's kind of the
that's their formula too.
Right.
Just like, I'm not really gonna rhyme. I'm just gonna have a melody, and then
which Tracy Chapman built a whole career on that. She kind of just looked out her window and wrote the lyrics. But
she's good.
So overall, pretty good. Do we know who's hosting this upcoming week?
That's a rerun, but man, we should really work.
We should check it out. Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's going to be. Nope, they don't say. Well, it's going to be somebody, and it's going to be. Well, here we go. Here's the predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions.
We do need to do sometime a special.
So we have So there have been 5 episodes from the season that we have not done a podcast on. They might be going in reverse order. So it might be Charlie Day with Maroon 5. If not, of course, there's the Anna Faris episode, Ben Stiller, Melissa McCarthy, which some say is among the best. There's certainly some sketches there that were amazing, and Alec Baldwin. But so it could be any one of those. But
all I know is that we're going to be talking about it next week.
We are going to be talking about it. So you make sure you tune in with us here on AfterBuzz TV.
I have a question for you guys. What repeat would you like to kind of discuss or see, whatever?
I've heard a lot.
Well,
of
I
buzz
suppose we
about
could
them.
just do whichever one.
Yeah, that is true.
We are
No,
not.
I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like if you had to pick for them, if you were NBC, you would be like, all right, you definitely have to replay this one. This was really good. People enjoyed that the first time. They got to get it a second time.
I think the Melissa McCarthy
Yeah.
one seems to be the
That's the buzzworthy
most
one.
the most well reviewed. And no surprise, she's the one that does comedy. She's on a sitcom,
Yeah.
so is she is she going to do a better job than Charles Barkley? Yeah. Alec Baldwin, of course, is on a sitcom as well. Ben Stiller, Anna Faris, and Charlie Day are now. Well, Charlie Day's on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So, but Ben Stiller and Anna Faris, of course, are movie stars, and although Stiller brings back Zoolander during the Weekend Update, which is nice. Supposedly, a Zoolander sequel is in the works
with Jonah Hill.
with Jonah
wow.
Hill. That's right. So we'll see. I would like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see the Melissa McCarthy because I know there's lots of stuff to talk about, and we'll see if she's nominated for anything because some people are saying she may or may not be nominated for an Oscar. I don't know when they're announcing those, but
They overlook comedy generally.
tell you what, NBC got a hit with Emma Stone, even though it was a rerun. They got, I think, a 3.9 on their ratings, 4.5 originally, which is considered
good.
a flop. But they got, for reruns, that's really good.
So far, I think Charles Barkley is the top one. Maybe I need to look it over again, but he's
of the ratings,
of the season. Yeah.
I think Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Fallon was the top. Of course, I mean that's it was the last Saturday before the holidays, before Christmas, really. So a lot of people were on vacation and stuff. A lot of people are going to be watching football. Actually, I think presumably we'll be doing a podcast during the Super Bowl. So we will.
yeah.
You and I will.
Yeah.
So
Because we're nerds.
because we don't really care about football, even though.
I will be
14
drinking
to 10
beer
in
and
the,
eating nachos though, because that's what.
but you do that anyway because
Yeah.
that's Sunday. All right.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I am Mario Hernandez. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Cinemario, CINEMARIO. I'm going to be performing at the Comedy Store this
Yes.
Tuesday, the 24th, in the Belly Room at 8 o'clock. Please come check me out. I'm also performing with my improv team, Conrad, this Thursday night somewhere at a theater of some sort. Graham, I know you got a website.
Yeah, website, Twitter. Working on things. I've got things in motion, but for now, you can follow me at Graham High.
That's right. If you want to know what kind of motion Graham High is down with, you be sure to follow him. I am Graham High.
There's all kinds
Twitter
of motion.
and that's your website. I am Graham High or just Graham
I
High.
am Graham High.
I am Graham
That's
High
my
on
website,
both. So just
.com.
find him and do it with him.
Yeah, I could Skype with you.
Yeah, we can Skype and we can do this. So be sure to call in. Be sure to tweet us. All that jazz. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next time, Saturday Night Live. Thank you so much, Phil in the
Thank you
booth.
guys. Thank you, Phil.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.